This is a guided walkthrough video for the Tmux machine on the VulNyx website, and let's begin. So the first thing we like to do when we do one of these CTFbox machines is we like to run an nmap scan to see what services are available on this particular server. So the nmap program is going to scan the IP address that is listed over here, and it's going to report all of the available ports, networking ports, that are open on the machine. So we're going to run it very verbose with the -V flag over here, which is going to give us output before the scan is finished. So it helps us speed up our enumeration process. We're going to run it with -T4 over here so that it runs very fast but not too fast with 4 threads. We're going to scan all the ports on the system with this portion over here, -P-, and we're going to scan and run common scripts against whatever services we find with this flag over here, -SC, and get versioning information with this flag over here, -SV. So without further ado, let's run the scan. So we see some unusual ports show up immediately over here. We've got port 80, which is pretty standard, but we also see port 514, 512, and 513, which are very unusual ports on servers, to say the least. Okay, but what is actually on these ports? Let's see what nmap has for us over here. So we've got port 80. This is running an HTTP service, which is a web page. It is running Apache software, version 2.4.56. The HTTP title for the page is Mona Lisa, and we also see on port 512, it is running this exec service over here. So this is a highly unusual service, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about this in just a sec. Okay, we also have 513, which is login, and 514, which is TCP wrapped. Okay, so I think these ports over here are running as a unit, but let me take a look at my notes. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go over to the web page that's associated with this machine. So we're going to go to our Firefox browser, and in the Firefox browser, we're going to navigate to the IP address with HTTP. And we're going to see this picture of the Mona Lisa here. So anytime you see a suspicious image on one of these CTF boxes, you probably want to download it and do some enumeration of the image. So we're going to copy the image link, and then we're going to go back to our terminal, and in the terminal we're going to download the image by using the wget command. So it's wget and then paste in the image address over here. After that, hit enter. That's going to download the image to our current directory. So we see the image, which is image.jpg, and we're going to use the EXIF tool to take a look at any metadata associated with this image. So this is going to show us all of the metadata associated with the image over here. And we see here in the comment, there are some credentials. The credentials are for the Lisa user, and there's a password associated with it called MySecureRSH-PAS. So what is this? Let's talk about the RSH service first of all. So the RSH service is the service that was running on port 512, I think it was. But what is this service? This is the Rexec service, or the RSH service. Rexec is a legacy service on Unix/Linux systems, which allows users to execute commands remotely. Rexec is very very rarely present on modern networking environments due to numerous security weaknesses, such as a lack of security weaknesses. So not the least of which are things like a lack of encryption. So basically, if somebody is able to monitor the network traffic that is going between the client of the Rexec service and the server that is running the Rexec service, then you're probably going to be able to see all the commands that are being run in clear text, which is very, very bad. Okay, so we've got this, we supposedly have this set of credentials over here that was left in this image, but this is actually a rabbit hole. This is false information. The actual credentials for this user are actually found by using the strings command. So we can use strings, and we can actually specify a number of minimum characters, and then we can use it on image.jpg. And we see here that inside the strings, inside the image here, there are the actual credentials over here. So it's Lisa Gioconda. I'm not sure if this is this sounds like some sort of Italian word. So this is the credential pair that we're going to use to log into the RSH service. And the way we use the RSH service is we're actually going to use a shell version, which is present on Kali Linux. And we just need to do RSH and then L and then the username and then the IP address over here. So after we do that, it's going to ask us for the password. And the password is Gioconda. Let me just grab that from my notes. Paste it in. And now we are logged in. If we ask who we are, it says we are Lisa. So we're in, which means every time we break into a server, we have to put on our scary hacker voice, and we have to do the scary hacker voice speech. So let me demonstrate.
Hey everybody, it's me, Scary Hacker Voice Guy. Scary Hacker Voice Guy comes out every time we break into a server. You fools, you decided that it was okay to put credentials in your image file. Well, you were wrong. You decided to accept that risk. You accepted the risk, and now we're in.
Well, the first thing we like to do after we break into a server is we like to figure out if the current user has any sudo permissions on the server, and we actually find out that this user does. So it says user Lisa may run the following commands on Mux, the name of the server. As root with no password, they can use user bin Tmux. But what is Tmux? So we're just going to talk a little bit about what Tmux is before we exploit it to elevate our privileges. So this is privilege escalation sudo Tmux. Tmux is a terminal multiplexing program which allows users to split a single terminal window into multiple sections. So you might see this advanced users of Linux, they're going to split up their terminal window into multiple sections with the Tmux program so that it can have a lot of information going on all the time, and they can switch between the different panes and give different commands. I personally don't do that because it's a bit, there's some reasons why I don't use Tmux, but it's very useful if you want to be a power user on Linux. Since we have sudo access to the Tmux program, we can open a Tmux terminal with root access. We simply need to use the command indicated above. So this is very simple. We just do sudo Tmux, and then the terminal that is opened up is going to be a root terminal because we're using it with sudo. So let's do that. So over here, we just need to run sudo Tmux. And it says here that we are the root user at Mux. If we ask who are we are root. And that means
What are you? I'm system root.
So we are now the root user on the system, and that means we're very close to finishing today's exercise. So in order to finish the exercise, all we need to do is we need to navigate into the root users directory like this, and then we need to read this flag file over here, which is root.txt. But we're not going to read it in the traditional sense because the organizers over at the VulNyx website have requested that all people doing walkthroughs and videos of their machines not reveal the flag contents. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to read the file, but redirect the output into a file called iRead_roots.txt. And then after we do that, we're going to use the md5 sum command to get the file hashes for the root.txt file and the iRead_root.txt file. Okay, and we see that the file hashes for these two files are both the same, which means they're effectively the same file, which means that we have read the root.txt file and completed the exercise. Thank you very much for watching today's guided walkthrough of the Tmux machine from the VulNyx website. If you enjoyed the video, please click on like and subscribe. But until next time, HackerFrogs out.
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.